What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Above Average podcast, where we talk to people who are above average in mindset and in action. I'm Will. This is Ethan. And today we are joined by founder of new Pittsburgh apparel brand Underdog, Ryan Tuttle. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about business and life. So
hell yeah. Let's get into it. So first of all, I think maybe we just start with your background. You know, like I guess maybe going back to, you're from Pittsburgh, going back to that, like high school into college, and then just, you know, I guess you could take us right up to the point where Underdog became a thing.
Yeah. So I guess, high school I was an athlete. So you kind of always had that, that mindset to, be great almost. And honestly, when I got to college, my goal was to go to Pitt. So I really tried in high school. Then I got to college, I just kind of stopped caring. I just don't know. I was like, I don't think I want to work a 9 to 5. Like, I think I'm meant to do other stuff. Like, my purpose is not sitting at a desk 9 to 5. So like the first job I had out of high school was just kind of like a data analyst job. Out of college was a data analyst job. Then I got into logistics, and then I kind of like started doing like AI like courses online and got into coding, learned how to code. And I was kind of just really going, I was like, where can I make the most money at? So I was like, I know there's a lot of money in that. So I learned how to code, and that kind of took me where I'm at now, as a software developer. And then me and my buddy, Danny Landy, we always had this saying, it was like, great day to be an underdog. Like that we would just say that. And then we started like doing shirts. And then, a lot of people like bought into it. Cause like for me, like being an underdog isn't just in fitness. It's kind of like in anywhere you want to be in life, with work, your relationship, like whatever. So that's kind of where that started at. And then, business picked up. All my friends kind of bought into it as well. They believed in it, which was nice. And then started making like custom stuff. And, now we're here.
So it's been, you said it was 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So I know a lot of people that work with you with the brand. We had Alicia on.
Yeah.
She's
great. Yeah.
Yeah. Her podcast will be out late March. And so that was kind of where I had the idea to ask you to be on.
Yeah.
And I've been watching from a distance for a while now, just seeing, all the Instagram and like the social media content and everything that's been popping up. And, when things, I think with anybody, when something's new, like you're just, because I think, not saying that you would start something and quit, but people start things all the time. And then, where does it go? Right. And so with Underdog specifically, like it's been like, I've seen the steady growth and like you guys are just hammering it, and it seems to be really catching some momentum.
Yeah.
And so, where did you feel like it really started to, like, was there a moment where you were like, this is going to be a thing? Like we can keep going with this?
I think I had that moment when I had some really big influencers like reach out and buy into it, and I sent them stuff and they were posting it, and it's kind of in the West Coast as well, and just kind of seeing all my friends buy into it, because they help a lot. Like it's not just about me. Like people will be like, oh, your brand's doing so great, but like it's really a combination of them as well buying into, because Alicia does a lot of the marketing. She gets people to come like do the photo shoot. She reaches out. So, and then like Kevin and Pomo, they always show up when I need them last minute. Our camera guy Jason is great too. So I felt it was really real when, everybody is always showing up, and, everybody else kind of believes in it. And I was like, like, we can do this. And I think a lot of things you said, where everybody quits, it's like, everybody now sees like maybe there's some influencers of like quick success, and then some people like get discouraged, like, oh, well, like I'm not having that success, so like I'm just going to quit. But like people don't understand, like there's brands like Young LA or Dark Sport, they've been around for like, 10 plus years. It's not like just an overnight thing. And I think a lot of people get discouraged with that, and people don't support them, and they just like, they just want to give up.
Yeah. I think about that with my own business. Like, I've been an online personal trainer for 3+ years, and I started my business coming off of, I was coaching college soccer, and this was during the pandemic. And, I started posting, offering personal training, and I'm someone that's been fit, but it's not like that was what I was doing prior to that at all. And I think in my own mind, and I think people do this, is they think about what other people are thinking, and they're like, are people, do people think this is a real thing? Do people think that is there going to be longevity with this? And I think that speaks a lot to your character, the fact that you have so many people supporting you, because that makes things so much easier. When you're somebody that people want to support, the things that you decide to do become so much easier.
Yeah.
Because you've got so many people in your corner willing to go to bat for you.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's a starting point. It is very hard to just turn around and be like, okay, I want to start something new, and you don't know anyone that does it. Like I think of the example of Mr. Beast. I mean, that guy,
Yeah.
that talk about longevity of making a career. Like that guy used to post videos just in his house doing like, I want to see what I can do with a toilet paper roll and unroll it as many times as I can and wrap something around and as many as I can by himself. And it was him and like one other dude or maybe two that had like a little group of like, we like YouTube because of YouTube. Like that was it. And that dude, what he's done, obviously now, if anybody hasn't heard his background, has no idea like how long that took. But that dude's been a YouTuber since he was a child.
Yeah.
Just
he's
working
been around a long,
just working that grind of just like trying things. And that grows so slowly.
And that's like another thing is like, I've never seen somebody that's just been consistent every single day ever fail. You know, if somebody puts their passion and everything into it and it's consistent, like I've never seen somebody fail from being consistent. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, you know, obviously you're bad days and good days and, you know, ugly moments, but like you're just consistent, show up every day. Like it will work out. Like, you know.
Yeah. Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, really all it is.
That's my motto. And I say, because it's true. It's like, you know, I don't know. Just,
yeah. So going back to high school, you said you played soccer.
Mm-hmm.
What position did you play?
Sweeper.
Okay. So you were in the back?
Yeah. I was like the top of the diamond.
Okay.
Right? That's sweeper.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was a goalkeeper.
Okay. Yeah.
That's like my claim to fame at this point, besides personal training.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know that about you. I know you played soccer. So getting into fitness background. So what's been your
Yeah. So my dad got me like on a workout program when I was in high school, and I kind of just fell in love with it. Say like my junior year, I kind of started actually like, you know, making a lot of progress in the gym, and I was like, I really like this. I really enjoy it. And then kind of just after that, you know, I worked out and, you know, I didn't really like take it that serious. But then say after college, I hired a coach and got really into it and, you know, started following like a diet plan, you know, workout plan. And like, then I got into competing and I competed for like 2 years. Then I got out of that, but I also, so Underdog before I started Underdog, I had a company called Versatile Coaching, which was like online coaching. So I'd make like meal plans and stuff like that. So that's kind of where that started from. So I had that first, and then I went into Underdog, but that's kind of, you know, where my fitness background is at, you know, just really I just fell in love with working out. Like I just loved, you know, the mental clarity from it and just, you know, seeing the progress. Cause like, that's the thing with fitness. Like it's all your own work. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You competed, just to clarify, was that in bodybuilding or was that powerlifting?
So bodybuilding, so like men's physique. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So men's physique.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a thing that we've not dabbled in personally. Like I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought about doing it before. I mean, I've wanted to. I've admired a lot of people that do. Like I used to watch the Ronnie Coleman videos. Those would get me all hyped up at the gym.
Yeah.
But I mean, how was that? Because like, I mean, I put myself through the ringer in other ways, but I've never done something for like such precision and such a, I don't know, just a different way of thinking about like what I've done in my past for working out and turning it into something that's like, okay, this is only going to be for the aesthetic for a certain time period. I think it's very tough to do.
Yeah. I'd say it was definitely a learning experience. Like, because like, you know, when you're serious about bodybuilding, like all you really do is you eat, you train, and then you kind of just go to sleep. And like, I really didn't go out for 2 years. I kind of cut off some friendships. And kind of just like, I just wasn't myself. So I think like, you know, after a year of doing it, a year and a half, I kind of had this realization. I was like, this isn't what I'm like cut out to do. Like I have a lot of friends that are bodybuilding. I have a lot of respect for them for what they do, because it's not for everyone. But like, to me, I felt like it was affecting my mental health and just, you know, how I was treating other people. And that's kind of why I got out of it. But yeah, it was definitely like a learning experience, and it's just a whole different mindset. Like it's a whole different animal. Like just, you know, obviously, you know, with the PEDs and diet and all that.
Right.
It's
I mean, the way that I see it, like there's like community in every sport and every place now. Like there's no way you don't have community. Like you can find a community online, even if it's not in person. What I find tougher about bodybuilding is it is kind of a lone wolf sport, because you have to stick to that diet, which does affect other parts of your life. Mm-hmm. And then you have to stick to certain times of working out. And then if you have a job, which pretty much everybody does, at least until you're like mega pro, but like everything you do is going to be kind of solo, you know, through that process. And like, I think that's challenging about that sport, because it does become kind of a mental game of like kind of outlasting yourself, you know, despite the fact that you want to go hang out with the boys, but you're like, man, I need to sleep tonight and I'm tired because I'm slightly malnourished, you know, the last like 3 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, definitely on that, I lost track of what I was going to say. But,
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it is alone because like, you know, I don't know. I look at it as like I go golf with people and kind of people just like encourage each other, but like in bodybuilding, like people support you, but like at the end of the day, like it's all kind of like competing against each other. Like in the gym, it's just like, I don't know. I used to go to Powerhouse and I kind of stopped going there just because like it's so toxic. I just feel like everybody's just kind of like, you know, the hatred and this kind of like all like just talk about each other because there's always like, you know, people just are in competition with each other. And I didn't really like that. And if you also like don't have a partner, like, you know, my ex, she was really supportive of it for a while, but eventually it kind of just took a toll on it. And I would say, you know, honestly, it played a big factor in like, things didn't work out because, like, you know, I just wasn't who I should have been. And I was very selfish when I was bodybuilding. Like, you know, I just only wanted to do what I wanted to do. And yeah.
It's interesting hearing the difference there. Cause I mean, I think a lot of what we talk, I mean, what I talk about with fitness with my clients, like I work with like very general population people. And, you know, you hear people that know nothing about the gym referring to things like that, like being in these environments in the gym where they feel intimidated and things like that. And I don't, and maybe it's because I've got more experience with just doing it, but I don't feel like I hear that as much anymore about, you know, that environment of feeling like you're not welcome. And I mean, I guess that's just the other end of the spectrum with it.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to that point and that's what you're doing, and it has to be part of it with the competition aspect because it is you versus everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and how do you feel has that, because I mean, I know with what you've said about your background, like there's a lot of different things in your life that have played into the Underdog mission and message, but I mean, that feels like that's something too. I mean, is there anything specifically from competing that kind of like plays into the brand?
Yeah, I would say when I first got into it, like I was pretty small, and then like I kind of put on like a lot of muscle in a quick time period because I think like, you know, as hell people have been like, oh, like you'll never be good at that, and that's kind of my MO for like everything in life. It's like when somebody tells me I can't do something, it's kind of just like makes me want to do something.
Absolutely.
Like, especially with bodybuilding, like unless you're in that 1%, like you're an underdog. Like I mean, like the odds are against you. Like you're going up against greater competition. Like you're always gonna be the underdog. So I think that was a lot of my mindset when I'd be training. I was like, you know, like nobody believes in you, like but yourself, like you know. You owe this to yourself. So that's kind of where that played into it. And as well as just kind of anything else in life, like a lot of like, teachers in high school and, you know, a lot of adults just kind of told me that I would never, you know, amount to anything and, you know, do anything. And my dreams were stupid. And they kind of just made me want to, you know, prove them all wrong and prove myself right at the same time. Like, you know, I know what I'm capable of. Like, I really don't care, you know, what anybody else is saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good response because there's plenty of people that hear that stuff for their entire lives. And then they like house it and then they kind of like make it real, even though, you know, they might not have felt that way, but you're hearing it your entire life and like, oh, well, that must be true. And then to then take the alternative and be like, well, I'm going to just make sure you know that I did the opposite.
Yeah. And I think growing up, I think like a lot of adults like crush, you know, younger people's dreams because they didn't fulfill their dreams. So I kind of think, you know, they kind of take that out on younger kids. Like, you know, I didn't accomplish my dreams, so you're not going to do what you want to do.
Do you think that that's a common theme in Pittsburgh? Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of envy and jealousy. Yep.
It's weird, isn't it?
Really, because I'm not from here, so like I could have an opinion from an outsider, but I didn't like grow up in Pittsburgh culture. Like I mean, I moved here in 2018.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard to find like genuine people that are, you know, want to see you succeed. And that's why I'm really, you know, comfortable with my people that I keep around for Underdog. Like, you know, the kind of the base crew have been there from the beginning, and, you know, I'm happy to see them do well and they're happy to see me do well. So it's kind of just like, you know, when you find those people, you kind of keep them close, you know, really take care of them. Cause like, I feel like it's really hard here to find people that are, everybody always says that like, oh yeah, like your brand's doing so good, like, it's so cool. And like, but you never really know what they're saying behind closed doors and kind of just saying it to your face to be like, you know, but it's just hard to find people that are really like genuinely want to see you succeed around here. I feel like.
I think it's from like an outside perspective, just not like being from here. I think Pittsburgh, you know, historically speaking, very blue collar, very hardworking. So I think if you don't follow a hardworking structure that has been seen, I think it's I feel like it's harder environmentally for people to kind of see the difference in doing something different. It's hard work. Like what you've done is hard work. It's not the same as like blue collar hard work. You know, and when you have hundreds and thousands of people that do that, and then historically speaking, and their friends, and then all that, I think it like plays a factor in the fact that they're like, oh well, that guy's probably just wasting his time because he doesn't work as hard as us, even though the hard work they just like maybe don't really relate to sometimes. Like I think that's what makes it kind of different. Like seeing this place as an outsider versus, like I grew up on the West Coast is just very different mindset. Good, bad, there's both, but I think that's what I could see growing up here, even though I haven't.
Yeah. I, to relate to what you were saying, growing up in East Allegheny, for me personally, I mean, I don't think I ever had a lot of people in high school that were ever telling me like that I specifically couldn't do things, but there was that mindset of like, oh, I can't do this because I'm from here. And after college, like, I mean, I played soccer at Pitt, went on to play at a D2 school. After that, I coached professional. And there was always this weird like mindset of people from back home, which is, I mean, it's 10 miles away from here, but it was always like, oh, I can't do this because I'm from here. And so I would go back, I restarted our alumni association. I was the vice president, co-founder, and with the intent to just show people like, hey, like I went to a high level from this place. There's no reason why you can't also do that. But you go back and you hear these things where it's almost like it's like a learned helplessness. It's weird. And that's, years and years of some kind of cycle going on where, they just don't think it's possible, when in reality it takes one person. Yeah. And then that's, it's obviously not the case.
Right. And that's definitely big coming from like Steel Valley area. Like there's been a lot of successful people that came out of there. But I think like, majority is like, it's a lower end school, not a really wealthy community. So people are like, oh, nothing really good comes out of there. So I think, my, purpose right now is kind of just proving, this young, like, you can do whatever you want to do in life if you want to go get it. Like, and that's just kind of, what I'm just keep trying to do, just inspire those younger kids. Like you can do whatever you want. Like just because you're not as wealthy as somebody else, or, go to a nicer school, like you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's that, there's like the stratification too. Cause I mean, North Versailles, it's the same area essentially, but it's not the North Hills. Yeah. And we have that here in Pittsburgh where you've got like the east side of the city that is areas like Steel Valley, Munhall, West Mifflin, North Versailles, Duquesne, McKeesport. Yep. Then you've got the other side where you've got Wexford, Cranberry, Seneca Valley, Fayette, and they're completely different. And I always notice that even with soccer, because Pittsburgh's not a hotbed for soccer by any means, but the talent and the best teams always came from the other side of the city. Yep. And so even if we made it out of our section, we were going to go get smacked by somebody on the other side. And, you could say, who knows, maybe it is something to do with, pay to play models of playing sports or whatever. But, all the kids that played for the high level clubs were from the other side of the city. Yep. And then they were all in the same high school teams. And then you'd have us where we had 3 subs for an entire year, and so that puts you in that underdog position right away. And, I always felt like we were going up against a mountain. And that's good for you, but a lot of people don't view it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Like, I would say, like, I use our junior year, for example, in soccer. We had a pretty good year. I feel like, we had a really good team, and then we went and faced like Hampton and just, teeth kicked. We lost like 13-0. All these clubs, and like all these kids on the team, like, yeah, like we're going to play overseas after high school. Like, it was just like nuts. Like, they just, you just never seen something like, like,
how old are you?
29.
29. I'm 28. I don't think we didn't play against each other.
I don't think so. Yeah.
But we're in the AA. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was in AA. I think our section was like us, South Park, South Moreland. I don't know who else. South Allegheny. South Allegheny. Yeah, South Allegheny was in there. Yeah. And there might be one more, but yeah. Yeah.
That's all changed a lot now too. All the sections are different. And yeah, East Allegheny in particular, they've got out of the same thing. They got out of the playoffs, went to play Quaker Valley, lost 14-0. Like 2 touchdowns scored on them in a soccer game, dude. Like, It's like, what does that do to your mental? But, if you can keep coming back, find a way to be fine. Yeah. With Underdog and like the distribution of your apparel. Like, do you do it in like, do you have like a drop, like like in terms of the model, like you have stuff that you have, I guess with content, they would call it like evergreen, where you're just selling stock all the time, or do you do it in a sense where you like, you have a new drop and then you put that out and then that's the quantity, and then like when that's gone, that's gone?
It's always been one on, like one of, like once those are gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of our best approach to do things, because everybody's always like, oh, restock this, but like, having that demand, like, once they're gone, like you're not getting them back.
Yeah. Creates scarcity.
Yeah. But also I kind of changed my mind because we did these Pittsburgh City shorts last summer and we sold like 200 units in the first weekend. Like they sold like crazy. So I think we're going to run those back again this year, but like it just has to be something like that to run it back. But other than that, it's always just one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of making the stuff, are you involved in that, or do you have like a supplier that, do you just like kind of send? I have no idea. I've always been curious about like apparel brands and like how that works. Like, design wise, like, is that all just coming from your brain and then you just kind of send it out to somebody who puts it together? So
I have a design team that I pay monthly just for like unlimited designs. I'm in constant contact with them, and anytime I have an idea, I just send it their way. Like I kind of just like write out visually for them, and even kind of send them some examples of drawings, like what I'm looking for, and they'll kind of finalize it, make it really sharp, and then we'll sign off on that. But yeah, I have a design team that I pay monthly, and they just do as many like unlimited designs like on the however many I want. Yeah, so it's nice. Do you keep all of the stock? Like, is that like at your house? Mm-hmm. It's in my garage.
Is it?
Yeah. So like my garage is like my warehouse. Yeah.
Okay. And then so in terms of like just like selling it, do you ever think, is like a storefront ever something that has been in your mind?
So we just started selling in the closet.
Saw that.
That vintage shop. Christian owns it out in Bellevue, but it's been selling like crazy there. He like will text me all the time how much it sells every week, and how the people coming in like really getting to try it on and see the quality of it. So it's definitely been really good to do that. And so I'm definitely open. One day I'd eventually like that my own storefront, but it's still, I think for now it's nice just having it in different stores. People like stop in because like I don't know if anybody would ever directly just go somewhere to like get that.
Yeah.
So it's nice having it there though, and like we're doing an event with Solid Core in April, and there's kind of been some discussion. We need to get more of a women's line going to kind of sell it there, which would be awesome as well. So whatever we can keep doing to kind of just get that out there and have people see it in person is good. And I think we want to do like a lot of pop-up shops this spring and summer so people can really see it in person.
Yeah,
so it's different. Like when you're buying online, you really don't know what to expect. But like seeing that in person, being able to try it on or just see the quality of it, it changes a lot.
Yeah, now everything like online is how we do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And people ask me all the time if I want to open my own gym. I'm like, I'd love to have my own gym, but the overhead with having your own gym is way higher than it is to do anything online. Mm-hmm. And so obviously, there's the barrier for entry is so low with that. So, if you can hammer that and it's working, like, why not?
Yeah.
So what about being from Pittsburgh and, in terms of clothing brands, like I think about, 412 brand was the shit when we were in high school.
Yeah.
Like, me and my friends would drive down to Southside Works just to go to the 412 store. And that's what we did. We all had 412 gear and stuff like that. And so, have you taken like inspiration at all from any, it doesn't even have to be them, but like, that's just who I think of, but any other brands like Pittsburgh brands or things like that?
Yeah, I would say, Nolak for sure. Me and Jared are really close and he's helped me a lot. Bounce ideas off him and he's kind of, give me advice as well. So I say Nolak. And then, so for Pittsburgh, I'd probably say Nolak's probably, my biggest, inspiration for clothing wise for sure.
Okay.
What about outside of Pittsburgh? Do you have any either connections that you've, kind of made either starting this or before that you were like, oh, like I like this because I found it from my own experience from any time point, or did you like run into anybody that you've met? Because I met a couple people like randomly that I'm like, oh wow, I met them. They were awesome. I already knew their brand, but I was like, I tripled down on the fact I met them. I'm like, wow, this guy's actually great. And then I kind of maybe have a lot more buy-in and it gave me ideas too,
Yeah, there's this group of kids from Dallas. They started a clothing brand. I met them once and they're real genuine, like, real, like down to earth. And kind of I've been following their clothing brand as well. And they're kind of like influencers as well. They kind of started a YouTube channel and TikTok and all that. But I've definitely, drawn a lot of inspiration from them and just seeing how they work as well. Cause like Houston and Dallas is a very heavy clothing market. You have like Anaka, you have Alpha Elite, you have all those kind of, you know, big brands down there. So just seeing how they operate, you know, the kind of things that they do, definitely has helped give me, you know, some more ideas.
So so in terms of scaling, what do you think will be coming up for like scaling, you know, the right way? And just out of curiosity, like where do you want to put yourself in it as it gets bigger? Like, do you think you'd ever like think about leaving your work yet, or are you not quite at that point? Or is this the way that this goes is how you want it to go, and make sure you have like career and passion both together, so you kind of have both going?
Yeah, I would say the goal is definitely to leave my job like probably within a year. So like I would say like in the next year, I don't want to work like a job. And we just got like an investor as well. And I kind of told him, I was like, you know, this is like, you know, what I'm passionate about, you know, what I want to do. Like, you know, like I'm going to make this big. And like, you know, I want to, like, I just hired Alicia to come do our marketing. Like I want to kind of bring all my friends into it to where I wanted to get so big to the point where like they can all just kind of, you know, work with me with it, and like, you know, have like an HQ where we all just hang out. Just like, that's like my dream with Underdog, is just have everybody involved. Like that's what I enjoy about it the most. Like the company is like, the success is cool, but like just having everybody involved in photo shoots and, you know, just everything, it just makes it so much more enjoyable. Like everybody around me, like my close friends. And so I think that's, you know, where I want to take it, is have everybody involved in some kind of way. And
yeah. Do you guys have like global distribution too, or has it not quite reached that?
I've sent it to like Canada, but that's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding. So how do those people find you? Or like, did you like try and ask them and find out? You know,
I've had some like fitness friends. When I competed, I met them. So like, there's a show in Pittsburgh. It's a national show. It's North Americans, but like people come from Mexico, Canada, like all over. It's like open to all of that.
That's one in Station Square.
Yeah. So I met a lot. Like I have a lot of friends that live in Canada from bodybuilding, and they'll buy it and kind of just spread it around there, which is cool. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've found some inspiration, some like the Dar Sports brand that you've mentioned. Like I came across them maybe about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. I didn't even know how long they were around, to be honest with you.
We were wearing that in college, and like
really,
I feel like since they've like got really big with like sponsoring TikTok influencers, they kind of like re-emerged. Like, but yeah, that's been around. Like when we were in college, we were wearing Dark Sport, like, and like now it's like it's like brand new. I'm like, they've been around for like a long time. I'd say like 2014, 2013. They've been around for a long time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I found them, I don't know, randomly. I think I saw some dude's hat. And I was like, oh, like that's pretty cool. And I've seen that logo before, like, you know, the wolf. And I was like, that's pretty sweet. And then I just saw they paired up with Tim Kennedy not that long ago. I'm not sure if you know who that is, but that's a dude from the Army background who's an influencer, MMA fighter. They just did like a partnership with him, you know, on like a drop. And I was like, Tim Kennedy. I was like, well, that's kind of crazy. So I'm like, there's no way this brand is that new. Cause I'm like, they must have some good like longevity standings to have gotten that far. Yeah. I think if it would have gone too far too fast, they wouldn't have been able to even like keep up with demand at that rate that I saw. So I was like, they've got to have been around longer. But honestly, like I never really looked into how long they were here.
Yeah, because they used to be really just like only sponsor like bodybuilders. Like that's kind of what their
right.
claim to fame
That's
was.
Right.
Like, they sponsor bodybuilders, and like their drops would be so limited. Like they would sell in like 3 minutes. Like when we were in college, like if you got on there like 9:05, because they always drop at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. And like if you got on there like 9:05, like nothing was left.
It was gone already.
Yeah. And then I think like recently they kind of gotten like, I know there's a lot of girls now that like are really big on TikTok, and they kind of started sponsoring like, you know, TikTok influencers as well. So that's helped them really grow, like, which is smart. I mean, yeah.
I was in Hawaii last year, and I went to one of their gyms there, and it was funny. I was like just there to work out, and I talked to a girl, and then I was like, this girl looks familiar. She was on their brand when they came to Hawaii, because they came out there to do a shoot the month before.
Yeah.
And like I ended up talking to her, and she's like, oh yeah, like the whole team was here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. I was like, oh, that's kind of random. I'm like, wow, they're out there doing a shoot in Hawaii. That's like the dream. That's like the dream spot to be in, right? Where you get to go do a shoot somewhere like that.
Yeah, they do shoots all over. Like they'll do like in the desert and stuff like that. So it's cool, man. It's definitely, you know, motivation for sure.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the next thing coming from Underdog at this point in time, in terms of like, is there an upcoming drop or?
Yeah, there'll be a drop probably second week in March. We have some more sweats and shirts, and I have a lot of stuff just kind of lined up. It's just kind of when I want to drop everything, but we got a lot in store. And then, I really am looking forward to this year is, I have Alicia and a couple other girls, and we sent out some samples of leggings and stuff to our manufacturer in China. And we're kind of really just kind of perfect like a women's legging, like a set. And I think that's kind of what would help us really grow on that side as well. So I think that's what we're really excited for this year, to kind of get more into that side of the business, target like, women especially.
Yeah. That's got to require a lot of trial and error.
Yes, and that's what we talk about. People were like, I'll post it, just kind of tease things. People were like, oh, like when's that dropping? And I was like, a lot of brands, like I'm not gonna name drop, but like a lot of brands just kind of like just mass produce like leggings, and like the quality is just awful. And that's kind of, we talked to like our manufacturer about, is like, we're going to get these samples in, do different fabrics, and we'll have the girls like work out in them, wash them, and kind of see, which ones we really, want to go with as our, final decision. But it's going to be like a couple month process, not just like, like, oh, just order these now and then like just put it out there. Like, that's my biggest thing too, is like, I'm not just putting anything out there. If the quality isn't what I want, or, I'm not really happy with it, like I'm not just going to put it out there to make money. Like that's not.
Yeah. No, I mean, it matters so much. And I think obviously design matters in terms of just visual, but the way that things fit and wash is like so important. And I had a conversation with PJ, with the yoga jean. And I mean, I've never worn a yoga jean set before, but like,
Will, don't lie to our audience.
Never tried it, but
I've seen you rocking it.
That's a topic for another time. But no, I mean, like from what she said and what people say about that is like, it's like she's figured it out, like in terms of like the formula of like what it means to be able to, just the way that it fits and like it lasts a long time. And I've always wondered about that type of stuff. Like, is it just really a matter of just trying a bunch of different stuff and seeing, or is there stuff that's like, I guess if you look at like a manufacturer's like catalog, is like, this is the top tier, like that's what you need to get.
Yeah.
I think it's trial and error. I would say it's definitely trial and error, because you could think something's top tier, but you get and you're like, oh, I don't really know about that, because just other people, maybe they like that, but you don't like that. But with PJ, like, that's her passion is yoga. So I also think it's like a really important thing when you see somebody like who's actually putting out quality and putting out effort. They're not just in it for money, because like like I said, like a lot of people just put out stuff to make money. They don't care about the quality of it. Like they're just looking for money. So I think when people see that passion behind it and the quality of it, the effort into it, it drives more people to your business. So it's a lot of trial and error. Like I've got a lot of samples of shirts and pants, and it's just kind of just going through and seeing what works best and what people like best. And I think like we've really nailed down our shirts. Like every shirt we drop, like the feedback is always how good it is, especially hoodies now too. Like we just dropped these, and like these have been selling out like crazy. So it just kind of I think we've gotten better every drop with the quality, and kind of continue to improve.
Yeah. Is now in terms of designs, like, do you have because I know you said like you're throwing any idea you're throwing to your design team, but when it comes to like determining what's going to be in a drop, is there a theme as a part of it? And the only reason I ask is because I know you guys did the shirts with like the pit, like the royal blue, like colors. Yeah. Like, was that like a one-off thing, or was that a part of a drop? Or
that was just a one-off thing where I was just kind of sitting there and I was like, pit football season's coming. I was like, let's just drop these, and they sold out. Like there was, so we'll definitely do something like that again this year, run it back. But I definitely kind of want to, put together some kind of theme for each one. Like, I want to kind of do like an MLB drop almost, and kind of do some redesigns with logos like with Underdog in it, and just themes like that. That way at least there's like in like one we just did like Keep Showing Up collection was kind of I just want to do collections. I think makes it more
Question with that, I've always been curious about this. When you're doing something that is kind of related to something that already exists, like for example, Pitt, like I've seen the shirt. I mean, I know it's the logo with their colors, which is anyone can do that. Yeah. Right. But like we know, because we're from here, like that is what it's intended for. It's meant to be like a, like an homage to Pitt colors or whatever you call it. Now, for something like, where's the line of like what you can kind of replicate of somebody else's branding? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think as long as you don't put their actual logo on anything, then it's free game. Yeah. Like I look at like Eric Emanuel, like Anaka basically copied their shorts Like, and that's how they got that's how they got famous. You know, they did like the Eric Emanuel shorts just for cheaper, and all they did was like just change the logo on it, but like everything else is the same. So I think as long as like you're not putting an actual like, you know, professional sports logo on anything or anything like that, like then that's like licensed and like you can, it's free game as long as you render it in some kind of way. Like I've seen people who do like MLB logos and they'll just like turn it upside down or like reverse it and like they'll put it on anything. So like I feel like as long as it's not the actual logo, like it's all free.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Are you familiar with you've seen like Bro Science, the videos on YouTube, like Dom Mazzetti?
Yeah.
Like they've got that apparel line and like they take like you know, they'll put like University of Miami and it's like the Miami U. And I've always been like, obviously, I mean, they still sell them, but I've always been curious about that because I've always just like, how far can you take that likeness to where it's almost exactly the same thing, but it's not. And but I think people love that shit at the same time. You know, when something references something else that they enjoy, like with the Pitt one, like I was a huge fan of that shirt because it's just, you know, like I was a Pitt athlete, like those colors, I wear those colors all the time. And to be able to just have like just a little reference to it, but it being something completely different, I always thought was super cool.
Yeah. No, and that's for sure. Like, cause like Alicia and our other friend Sierra, who's a gymnast as well, like they just loved it. And like, you know, anybody that went to Pitt or played sports at Pitt, like got it. And like, it was just like a unique, you know, piece. Like it had this script on the back, but it was just Underdog instead of Pitt. So it was just kind of, you know, a unique piece.
Yeah.
It's like the same with the military clothing. There's like known brands that are like turned into having like a stigma, you know, like grunt style. You've probably seen a grunt style shirt. You've probably seen the logo. It's like, it says grunt style, has like cross rifles, which means you're in the infantry or whatever, but they have very just like in your face graphic. That's very like, it's not even politically driven, but it's just very like bro-y vet graphic. And like, I like that brand. And I've actually like talked to the owner of that brand before. He's like a huge brand now, but it's been a big brand for like a long time now, but it's just kind of funny because like now it's turned into kind of like a stigma of like, oh, it's like it's too in your face. It's not very subtle because like I'm from the Army background. Like I don't necessarily want to scream it all the time because I really don't, you know, but like I still like to represent it in some way, you know, sometimes, but like, you know, like with these pants, it's like kind of subtle, like they're tactical pants. It might look obvious, but like I'll wear it with like regular clothes sometimes and like no one would really know the difference. So, you know, I think that's, I think if you're making things interesting and creative, like you won't like over time, like you won't get caught making like a brand that has a stigma. But like the Dart Sports, like I thought they only did bodybuilding stuff. And then I saw Tim Kennedy and I was like, oh, they have other people. I like went down a rabbit hole one day and I'm like, oh, they're more diverse. But now it makes sense that you said with their background, that's where they started.
Yeah.
You know, but but there's some brands that are like in your face, like ones for the veteran community that kind of kill me now. I'm like, oh man, I'm sure they're great brands, but I'm like, I don't want to like look like that guy wearing like an in your face brand. Then I'm like, it could be more artistic or subtle, you know, or, you know, put a little bit more creativity in it and less about, you know, like making it like absurd, like in your face. But that's very much the veteran space though, you know?
Yeah. Right. So we've alluded to it over the past 40 minutes or so, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here because I might a little bit, but if you had to put the mission of Underdog into like a few sentences, what would it be? Like if you had like, I mean, I'm thinking like taglines, like just like if everyone wanted to know what it was all about in 30 seconds, what would it be?
I would just say that Underdog is, you know, about embodying that hope that lives inside everybody. You know, just letting people know that, you know, anything is possible you want to achieve, you know, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. Like it's really like Underdog to me is about, you know, proving yourself right and doing what you want and getting what you want out of life. You know, even if you're not at that top percentage, you know, you can get there if you want to, and you work hard enough and, you know, have the right resources and connections around you, you can do it. So I think, you know, Underdog for me is just really about proving yourself right and, you know, getting to where you want to get to.
Oh yeah. That's the clip right there.
That's the clip right there. Yeah.
Promo clip. Yep.
It is a good one. How are we on time right now?
We're about 4 minutes.
4 minutes from that. Okay. I'm trying to think. Was there like any other topics that we hadn't talked about that you might want to kind of go over that like we haven't brought up yet? Because I'm trying to think if there's anything that I was like already had previously.
I can think of.
Okay. I'm trying to think if you had any other questions offhand?
I went through all my notes there.
Yeah.
Through that. So yeah.
Okay.
We could.
I was going to say, we could do an outro if you think you're good on this, or if you want to keep going, which by the way, all of this, I will just edit out. So
Yeah.
this won't be a part of it. I was like, oh yeah, we should probably talk about this at some point. Unless there's something like, was there anything like future state that you want to talk about specifically? So if we have this release, is there anything very specific that you might have in mind that you would want to say? Like, this would be out probably April. Mm-hmm. This would be out in April. So right before summer. So like if you had anything in May that you were like, oh, we already know this is going to be ready in May, we can talk about it. But if not, no big deal.
Like product wise or just anything?
Product wise or like anything big. Like if there's like a big influencer thing you're working on or whatever too.
Yeah. So I would say 2 upcoming things. We're having this Solid Core event. We didn't announce that yet, but we're doing a pop-up there both days for their birthdays. So we think that'll be really good for traffic. And, so we'll be set up there both days selling product. And then as well as I have a really good friend in Houston, him and his wife's a really big influencer, and they're opening a gym in October. So, and they want Underdog to go down there for that. And there'll be like a lot of his wife is sponsored by Dark Sport. So there'll be a lot of influencers there, and it'll be really good. So they want us to go down there. So I think we're going to go down there in October and kind of set up there as well. And, try to expand that, into that area.
Nice. So that's some good stuff for our people to look for, not just in Pittsburgh, but outside of Pittsburgh, which our podcast doesn't have a crazy amount of worldwide viewership. But when it does, by April, this thing will be, kicking off some business, hopefully.
Yeah.
So where can people find you, and if people wanted to get involved, also, how could they do that? So I do want to dive a little bit into that with your outro, but if we wanted to get some local people, I think on here we get the most promotion and traction locally. How could people get involved? And if so, like at what capacity?
Yeah. So like, our Underdog, our Instagram handle, it's just the Underdog Collection. Our website's theudshop.com. And I'd say really, like, if anyone wants to get involved, whether it's modeling or just kind of involved in any kind of way, an ambassador almost, is kind of just, reach out. So like, for example, like we had a younger kid reach out on Friday, and he's going to play D1 football, and he kind of asked about an NIL deal, and we're kind of like, Alicia and I kind of discussed, our best approach to that, and we're going to send him a couple items, give him a promo code, and just kind of do a trial run to see how it goes, if he can kind of drive traffic. But I'd say, like, anybody that's interested, we're always open to new models and getting new reach, and I think that's a lot of people like don't get, like, they like see that, like, the core people are always involved in shoes. We have new people come in and out. But it's like, they're probably like, I think a lot of people are just like, oh, well, like, I'm not involved in that like crew, so like they're not want to be included. But like, we're always looking for people that want to come model to, reach different, demographics. So I'd say, anybody that's interested in modeling or just anything, just kind of reach out to us on Instagram, and or even my personal account, it's just Ryan Tutt _22. So anybody that really supports the brand and to show that, I think that's another big thing too, is like, I see a lot of companies, like, they just have anybody come model, and like, but like with Underdog, like, everybody that's modeled for us, like, really likes the brand and like really supports it. So I think it's like really, people that are really like actually believe in it, rather than people just like doing it for clout, like just becoming a model for clout or, their own gain. And so, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So that's where people can find you, ambassadorship of some capacity that you'll have kind of lined up. So I think that's awesome. And having some models and content creators, I think what you're making, especially coming out of Pittsburgh, is, I think it's incredible, because I haven't seen brands that we've talked about similarly from here as frequently. And it's been a thing that I think has kind of been missing almost in some way, because I don't really, since I've moved here, like, I had a clothing brand with the sake of thinking the same deal. I'm like, there hasn't been one that's inspired me from here specifically. I've always been inspired from other areas. So I'm excited to see where you take it, especially in the summer, and some summer drops coming up. Yeah. And Will, where can people find you?
At Will Marshall _1, and my website is marshallfitnesstraining.com.
Employee of the month.
Every month. And thank you to 111 Juice Bar for giving us some free juice today, which I don't think we gave you one during the show, but we'll give you one. I thought that was your leftover one. No, that was
I thought that was your leftover one. I was like, oh God, I guess I can't announce it yet because he can't take a drink of it if he wants.
No, we just got rolled.
Nice. The 111 Juice Bar gave us some free juice, which is awesome. And you can find me at Ethan Merritt Official. And yeah, I think that's about a wrap.
That's it.
You just want to do a little quick cheers with this guy before we get out of here?
Yeah, why not?
It's a good one. I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you
Yeah, dude,
guys
thanks for
having
having
me.
Thanks. Until next time, everyone.